true learning has been hidden from us for thousands of years. Now through the Spirit of the Lord, which He had to die on the cross for us to get this knowledge. If you knew the significance of why He went on that cross, man, you'd never look at that the same again. He had to die for us to get this knowledge.
That's right.
From His Father.
And that's how the Lord is gathering His elect, by the word being out and preached out here. And then the ones like yourself, you know, you heard the word. So if you're part of the elect, the Lord, now with the word that you receive, now you'll be sealed.
Wisdom,
you know, so we're calling out with the word of the Lord, and the Lord is the one doing the sealing. Those people obviously weren't part of the elect because they were scoffing. So it's like the word went like this, you know, just kept bouncing off their ears. That's why they came up the way they did, and then they left. You know, but you're still here listening.
Itself says study to show that self-approved. You got to study the Bible, but you got to study other books. When I say other books, I mean like the documents, the records, history.
It becomes a way of life.
It becomes a way of life.
Hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing His word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And what I want to get into today, you know, just dealing with more prophecy, you know, and we at the point now, you know, to where everything is in place, you know, for prophecy to be fulfilled. Okay, and we have, you know, moving parts. Okay, a lot of moving parts, you know, as we see, you know, the world stage, you know, being extremely active, you know, whether it's war, whether it's the economy, whether it's, you know, civil unrest, you know, whether it's famine, whether it's, you know, weather, okay, or whatever it might be, you know, it's getting extremely active, you know, because as the scriptures say, these things are for a appointed time, these visions, okay, and even going back to Ezekiel 38, you know, we're in that time where that vision is playing out real time, you know, and it's just another lesson, you know, to kind of, you know, put emphasis on a particular part, you know, of that prophecy, Ezekiel 38, dealing with the alliances, okay, that was mentioned, okay, in, you know, that chapter, okay, and we see real time that these alliances are lining up and becoming active, you know, towards their purpose and prophecy, okay. So let's go here. Let's jump to Isaiah 13:3, and I have a video that explains, you know, a little bit of the geopolitics that's going on in that region, you know, with the conflicts that we see happening, you know. So just get some understanding to that, Lord will, and link it, you know, to a prophecy, you know, and it just shows that what that He is, all right, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, all right, He is, you know, in the name of His Son, okay, Yahweh Shai, the Savior, okay, because all prophecy is leading up to Yahweh Shai, which is the headliner of all prophecy, man. Okay, Isaiah 13:3 says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. Okay, and the sanctified ones are the prophets. Okay, and the mighty ones are the angels, because we play a part, okay, in this war. Okay, He has raised up His prophets, okay, for the spiritual wickedness that's in high places, you know, because through the prophet this place is being chanded down. The foundation, all right, this empire of lies is being exposed and torn down. You know, our weapons are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, pulling down strongholds. Okay, these arguments and the reasonings of men, you know, that have, you know, pretty much been the engine, you know, the lies have been pretty much the engine of this society. You know, people buying into the lie, all right, plays a major part in keeping this place up and running. you know, and that's why as the elect is being awakened, this man's society is being affected, man. Okay, you know, the angels, you know, which, all right, they play on the minds, you know, of men for particular, you know, purposes in the earth. Okay, and ultimately the angels are going to be with Yahweh, you know, to end this third war. You know, as Yahweh is going to wage a war in righteousness in this kingdom, man. Okay, and it says, the noise of the multitude in the mountains like of a great people. Okay, and Isaiah is hearing this in the vision. You know, he's seeing these things, and you know the vision has sound to it, so he's seeing and hearing these things. Okay, it says a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord Yahweh Bashem Al Shai of hosts mustered the host of the battle. Okay, so Isaiah, you know, he's seeing the missiles and he's describing them as like a people, you know, and the noise that they make, you know, sound like nations going to war, you know, because you got to imagine how loud that was. Like the earth would be shaking, you know, if you had 20, 30,000 men, you know, marching, you know, 10,000 men on horses, that would be extremely loud. Okay, you know, the earth, you know, would be shaking. Imagine you had hundreds of thousands, millions, you know. So he's describing it the best way he can is like an army. Okay, the noise of it was loud, like a vast army marching, man. I'll say all them horses, you know, like the ground was shaking. And all right, and the velocity of those missiles, even before they hit, you know, it's gonna be a shaking, man. Those missiles coming with all their speed and all their force to the earth. Okay, but what's causing these things, man, to happen? What's causing these scenarios to play out? Okay, is the will of Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, and it said he mustereth the host. Okay, now you go to this word mustereth in the Hebrew, it's paquad. Now I want to go to section B. Okay, well, right before section B, it says what? To appoint, to assign, to lay upon as a charge, to deposit. So the Lord is appointing all these alliances we see. The Lord is assigning, okay, these nations to fulfill their role. See, prophecy is a decree, it's an instruction. Okay, prophecy is not a speculation. Okay, prophecy is not 50-50 or an opinion. No, prophecy is an instruction. Okay, we was instructed to stand on our feet. Okay, and this spirit of life will enter into it. That's an instruction. We have no say in the matter. No one has a say in the matter. Russia got to do what he got to do. Iran got to do what he got to do. Turkey, the EU, everybody got to play their part. Prophecies are instructions for the future, man. Okay, so it's the Lord that's appointing and assigning everyone to their role. Okay, he's giving everyone their charge, man. Whether you're all right, or whether you're you know, a superpower in the earth that possess nuclear missiles and millions of soldiers, okay, or whether you're a bug out, okay, preaching, you know, the hell doctrine and the new covenant, okay, everyone has their instructions, man, from the false prophet to, okay, the mighty military superpowers of the earth, man. Okay, so I want to go here to show you that the Lord is doing this real time. Okay, that prophecy in Ezekiel 38, which we'll get it, you know, after we watch this, you know, Lord will. All right, so we know, all right, just give a brief summary. So right now, you know, the rumors that are circulating, and the scriptures say we will hear wars and rumors of wars. Okay, and the rumor is what? A circulating story. Okay, so now the story in circulation is that, you know, these small hats are planning to invade Lebanon, you know, to destroy Hezbollah. Okay, which, you know, that's going to cause major escalation. Okay, if that happens, because Hezbollah is capable of responding, okay, with a lot of firepower, which they're pretty much, like an Iran Junior, over there in Lebanon, which borders, all right, the land of Israel. Okay, so the rumors, of an invasion, are circulating. Okay, and we're gonna see how that's gonna play a part in another player. Okay, in Ezekiel 38, coming on the scene. Okay, so I'm gonna let him go. Then we'll expound on it. After and go into the prophecy, man.
Whether or not we all are is another matter, but that's the way the Arabs view us. So I think the Israelis learned the hard way that there is no benefit to occupying Arab societies. So now that apparently the new option is to eliminate the Arab society, and then the land belongs to you. And they think there's no alternative to destroying Hezbollah. And the only way to do that is scorched earth all the way to the Litani River.
Like they did in Gaza, basically, the same strategy.
I would expect the same thing to happen. The problem, of course, is that how do you isolate this from the rest of the region? It's not possible. And earlier today, Erdogan, who has thus far been a disappointing blowhard.
Erdogan is the president, right? The prime minister. No, I think he's the president of Turkey, president or prime minister. Okay, of Turkey. Okay. So he says Erdogan, he's speaking of the leader of Turkey.
To most of the Muslim world has finally said, we won't tolerate this. If Israel goes into Lebanon, we will enter the conflict. Now, how that happens and what he precisely means, I don't know. But the Turks have always been the gorilla, what we call the 500-pound gorilla in the corner. And the Israelis have sort of dismissed the Turks out of hand as never really coming into this, and no one should worry about it, and focusing instead on Iran. But the truth is, the Turks and the Iranians are very, very different people. The Turks have a very strong martial tradition. They are a warlike people, and they are deeply offended by what the Israelis have done to the Muslim Arabs in Palestine, notwithstanding the fact that lots of Arabs are suspicious of Turks for reasons of history and the Ottoman Empire. But I think today, certainly the Arabs, Sunni and Shia, would welcome Turkish intervention as an alternative to Israeli destruction.
And the Turks, of course, would also get a lot of extra refugees should Israel decide to enter Lebanon. Yeah.
Oh, no, I think that's a critical point. Somebody said, well, what do you think has happened with Mr. Erdogan? And I said, I think in his latest meetings with the National Defense Council, senior officers have been very blunt and said, if the Israelis go into Lebanon, they will destroy it. If Lebanon is destroyed, we are at high risk in this country from all sorts of strategic outcomes. And we will be seen or viewed throughout the Muslim world as traitors, as having helped the Israelis effectively destroy the Muslim peoples of Lebanon and Palestine. So I think he's finally pushed into a corner. And I think he was trying to send a signal that we will act. And I think it would be a mistake for the Israelis to dismiss this out of hand.
20, 180. That's how many clients I'm going to get you, and that's how many days it's going to take me to do it.
Give me 1 to 2 weeks, and I'll show you how you can start your own.
And I think it would be a mistake for the Israelis to dismiss this out of hand.
Yeah, because then we get into a very interesting situation. Should Israel get into a war with Turkey, Turkey being a NATO member, how is the US going to respond to that?
Well, NATO is not a terribly meaningful entity anyhow. We pay lip service to it all the time. It's a sort of...
So Turkey being, a NATO member, still, it doesn't matter about, the pacts that they made, with Europe and, the EU nations in America. No, it's all about prophecy. Okay? Prophecy overrides, these pieces of paper. Okay, written by men, these certain alliances, not. Because even the EU is eventually going to turn on America, man. So, As he's speaking about, look, if these small hats, so Turkey's pretty much saying if they invade Hezbollah, they're not going to stand by idle. That eventually they're going to come in on behalf, all right, of Lebanon, okay, because Turkey is a Islamic, nation, okay. And there's a lot of Edomites amongst the Turks, but there's a lot of Ishmaelites as well, So, and he said, Turkey is like the 500-pound gorilla in the corner because, Turkey has a formidable, all right, military, okay, and even a lot of the air bases in Turkey, America uses, those air bases, to go carry out missions over there in their region, which we'll look at the map in a minute, but he's going to make one more point, in a few seconds, and then we'll, go to the prophecy, to close out.
Monument in the corner, everybody genuflects to it because they want you to believe it's important and so forth. But in truth, no, I think NATO is in shambles. And I said in January of 2022 that if we went ahead.
What does the prophecy say? Partly divided and partly strong. Okay? Going to the 10 toes that Daniel seen in the second Daniel. It's like Daniel, the second chapter. Okay? When, he's seen those 10 toes divided, partly strong. Okay? That's the NATO, EU. Okay? There's divisions and there's major weaknesses. All right, pretty much to where NATO, is not taken serious anymore. Okay?
And provoked Russia into this attack, made it impossible for the Russians to not stay out of Ukraine. And if you remember, the Russians tabled many, many proposals for discussion. We rejected all of them. We out of hand said no. We wouldn't even look at them carefully. That left the Russians no alternative. And I think that's the problem now with the way we are doing business in the Middle East. We have unconditionally signed on to support Israel. Now I think there are people in the White House, fewer on the Hill, because the Hill is not a place where people think carefully about anything. But in the White House and certainly in the Department of Defense, people are very concerned because you're looking at an alignment now with not only Turkey, but also Iran and virtually all the Sunni Arabs in the region against Israel. And if Israel strikes hard against the Turks and or the Iranians, it's impossible for the Russians to stand by and ignore it.
And that's the point. Okay? I'll let him say that again. All right? Show you that prophecy is undefeated. Okay? He is. Okay, let's say it again and then we'll get the prophecy, man.
The Russians are not going to allow Iran to go under. I don't think the Russians would allow Turkey to go under. Iranians, Iran, and virtually support Israel. Now I think there are people in the White House, fewer on the Hill, because the Hill is not a place where people think carefully about anything. But in the White House and certainly in the Department of Defense, people are very concerned because you're looking at an alignment now with not only Turkey, but also Iran and virtually all the Sunni Arabs in the region against Israel. And if Israel strikes hard against the Turks and or the Iranians, it's impossible for the Russians to stand by and ignore it. The Russians are not going to allow Iran to go under. I don't think the Russians would allow Turkey to go under. Russia has an interest in stability in the region. And I think that's what Russia wants, and I think that's the message from China. This enormously important meeting with the Chinese.
So let's go, matter of fact, before we get to prophecies, let's go to the map. There you go. All right, so you can see Turkey is circled here. All right, now you see Turkey is a very strategic place. All right, and you see Iran and Turkey. All right, they share a border. Okay, and Russia is right here in the yellow. This big, huge country in the yellow. There's Russia, but not too far from Turkey. So pretty much you see the big three. All right. Now, what does Turkey? Turkey has access to the Black Sea, the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Iran, the Persian Gulf. All right. The Caspian Sea. You know. So Iran and Russia share, a sea. Okay. So the Lord has this, extremely strategic. Okay. And Lebanon, you can't see it, but it's that little slither, of purple. All right. That's under Syria. Okay. And remember, you have you have resistant groups that's against the small hats in Syria and Iraq. Okay. So these small hats are finished, man. Okay. And Russia, okay, you best believe is, as the scriptures say, being a guard, all right, to all these nations. Okay. All these Arab nations, are pretty much, under the banner of Russia. There's rumors that Russian planes have been delivering weapons to Iran, these last few days. That's another circulating story, but we'll see. Okay. So Turkey, is extremely strategic, man, because it pretty much is like a bridge, from what they call the Middle East to Europe, because Turkey borders all these EU nations. Okay. So let's go here. Let's go to the prophecy, man. And we'll just see how things unfold, with that. All right, but this is Ezekiel 38. Okay, and all right, this is Ezekiel 38. I started at 1. I started at 1. It says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy, all right, against it. All right, and Meshach and Tubal is going into Turkey, and Gog, going into Russia, and Russia, is a leader, okay, in their region, and these nations are coming under their banner of Russia, man. Okay, they've come under the leadership, the lordship of Russia, all right, as an alliance against the West. It says, and say, thus said the Lord, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I believe even when you go into all right. Might be Tubal. A region. Okay, when you go to the Hebrew, it's Tabal. Okay, well, a region in East Asia Minor, which is modern day Turkey. Okay, thou shalt be brought. With their descendants, they're originally Japhetic people. Okay, but now Turkey is inhabited mainly by Edomites and Arabs. Okay, and it's in verse 4 it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. Okay, so this is, all right, an invading army. Army that's coming forth. Their army is invading. Okay, and Russia is in the spirit of being invaded. It already has invaded Ukraine. Okay, and it's going to keep coming. The Lord has given Russia his marching orders to keep coming. All right, and on the way, it's going to be forming. All right, it's going to eventually Russia's allies are going to follow suit. Okay, China, Iran. Okay, all those nations with the Shanghai Cooperation. Okay, and eventually Turkey. All right, and that's why when you read here, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Okay, Persia, which is Iran, Gomar, all right, which is Turkey, and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that's the role that Russia is playing over these exact nations, Turkey and Iran. All right, because as Conor McGregor just said, Russia is not going to sit by, all right, and let the West, just have its way with Iran and Turkey. Nah, man. Russia is going to be a guard unto them. It's being a guard to them now. Okay? So, this is just another example of how, no, we're in Ezekiel 38 now. This is happening right now. Okay? You see, this is going to play out now. This chapter is going to be finished at the return of Yahushua. Okay? It's just going to be a closed book on Ezekiel 38 at the return of Yahushua, man. Okay? So, Lord will, you brothers and you sisters edified, just want to get into that, quick update as well, what's going on. So, till next time, we say Shalom.